I grew up in a really good family. My parents were awesome. They supported me in everything that I did. My mom was a very, very devout Buddhist for her entire life. And so from a really young age, I really learned about morals and values and ethics and stuff like that on, like, you know, just how to be a good person from her. And I really, really held her kind of on this pedestal, and really, I held her highly on just how to live life. And everything was just basically like cruising along, and my life was pretty good until when I was about 17, my dad went overseas for work. And that's where like my family dynamic started changing a little bit, because that's when my mom actually started having a relationship with somebody else. And that really began a long journey of very tough things emotionally, mentally. I resented my mom. I didn't think she was fit to be my mom, and so I took it upon myself to take care of myself, to take care of my brother, and to make something of myself. And I think that's really where I started packing on layers unintentionally to make myself stronger, because no one was strong for me. I always knew I was looking to be fulfilled. I was always looking for satisfaction. So I started working in a restaurant, so I was the hostess, and then I got promoted to a server, and then from that I became a bartender, and then I became a manager. And for me that was success. For me that was like, you know what, Jaisy, you've proven yourself, and in a short time, and you're young, and like people can see that you're capable. Over the years where I basically spent my life working, partying, because I worked at a bar, I would sleep at 6 a.m., wake up and go to work again and never see the light of day. And while that was all happening, my younger brother found God and he came to Christ. My brother was very, very significant in planting many, many seeds over years. I didn't know that he and this community was just praying for me for 3 to 4 years. He told my mom and I that he's gonna go into ministry. And I'm pretty sure that I laughed in his face because I couldn't really believe that my younger brother, who would never finish a book, who didn't even own jeans at the age of 18, who my mom was worried about in terms of life. Like I think I spent my life worrying about him and his direction and his purpose, that when he said he found it, I didn't believe him. And also because I didn't have it myself, so I couldn't believe that anybody could, at the age of like 19, know who they were and what they're supposed to do. One day I woke up and I realized that I hated my life. It wasn't because I didn't have what I wanted. It was because I had no idea who I was anymore. For the first time in my life, I remember thinking like, I think I can't handle this. I think this is the one time I can't do it. I didn't know why, and I didn't know what to do. And I had one conversation with my brother that just made me, I was just crying and crying. I was asking him these questions about life. And the one thing he could tell me to do was to just, well, besides really wrestle with it, was to book an appointment with his pastor and just speak to somebody. And I think I had too much pride for a really long time to ever admit any kind of weakness, to ever admit that I was lost in any way. And so I met our pastor here, John, and just sought him out. And I think for the first time in a really long time, it felt like somebody who didn't know me was actually listening. That wasn't crazy. I didn't know that I was looking for God. I don't think anybody who's seeking knows that. But I was so empty. I think I was running so hard, and I was trying so hard to hold everything that I had built for myself, and trying to maintain the layers that I've kind of layered and packed on, that I couldn't do it anymore. It was too heavy, it was too much. And John was the first person who kind of told me that I didn't have to. My brother lovingly handed me a book, and he said, Jaisy, like, I know you're not ready to go to church or to just come where I work, but just read this. And the book was called Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. Read it, and I still have the highlights of my book. I still have the things that stood out to me that I couldn't believe what I was reading. And I've actually passed that exact copy to my mom, because I know that the things that I highlighted were things that she taught me, that like my Buddhist mom taught me. But for the first time, I realized that these truths and these morals and these things that she taught me came from somewhere. And if it was the Bible, then I have finally found the source of everything I was looking for. And I told my brother, I'm like, Derek, I'm ready to come. So I walked into this room and no one was in the sanctuary. My brother was on the stage practicing his worship music. And I sat in, not this pew, but the first pew. And I was actually looking at the exit signs because I didn't know what I was doing in here. I didn't know anybody. I didn't speak to anybody. I didn't know what I was doing. And the crazy thing is that when I thought that, and I was scrambling, like my eyes were just rolling around looking at, okay, I have 2 exit signs there, there's probably one over there, like how do I like escape really quickly if I decide that this is not the right place for me? My brother was practicing a song by Starfield. It's called Cry in My Heart. I felt like someone was speaking those words into me, like talking to me. And the thing is that like, I think it was everything I needed to hear. Like there was so much I was looking for. And I couldn't attribute who was speaking and what was speaking to me at that point, but all I knew was that I was supposed to be here and I was in the right place. I think that was the first moment that I really knew God was real, because when nobody knew how I was feeling inside and what I was looking for, He spoke to me and He affirmed me in just where I was. I was sitting scared, alone, afraid, uncertain, in this weird foreign place. But He just took me and He said, I'm right here, and you're right where you need to be. And that's all that matters.